"Can I play outside, Dad?" A curtain was pushed aside. Morning sun blared into the bedroom, burning away the nightmare. The same man, not old nor white-haired, retreated deep into the covers. Waking felt worse than the nightmare. It was a nightmare he had every night. It evolved, but the plot was always the same, and it always ruined his sleep. His body ached badly. The raven-haired 6-year-old girl who had just drowned in his nightmare was Alice, his daughter, and she moved between the harsh sun and the bed to make sure her presence was known. She didn't wait for an answer, because she knew better. "It's nice out, Dad. I'm going outside and play." Once she was gone, he turned on his side, away from the window, and opened his bloodshot eyes to the unavoidable day. Eventually, he got up, still fully clothed, coat, shoes and all. He didn't undress for bed anymore. The mattress was just a landing pad. During a much-needed shower, he braced against the tiles and hoped that the throbbing behind his eyes wouldn't grow into a migraine. After, he dressed in relatively clean but tired clothes and ate a standing breakfast in the kitchen. Burnt toast was all his stomach would allow in the mornings. He washed it down with yesterday's reheated coffee, but knew tea would be gentler. The cupboard was filled with boxes of tea. He knew there was a box of stomach soother or hangover cure in there, but the wife preached tea, and he hated it before he hated her. It was her kitchen. She had left it spotless on her way out, and it was now very much the opposite. Arthur Blakey, or Art to anyone that still cared, was in his early 40s but could have passed for mid-30s if he wasn't so drained and out of shape. His mess of black hair and beard blurred his features, emphasizing his intense and tired eyes. 20, maybe 30 pounds overweight, he still looked burly and adept, but everything about him was worn, his jacket, his shoes, his hands, and his face, all worn from years of construction work and recent hard living. Through the window he watched Harry, the family dog, with no cone collar like in his nightmare, barking at his daughter's legs, dangling down from a branch of the towering oak in the overgrown jungle of a backyard. It was a beautiful sight, but he stared with tired detachment, wondering at what point the dog started appearing in his nightmares. As he sipped stale brew, which ultimately had little effect other than to lube his insertion into the day, the radio buzzed on the counter amongst dozens of empty liquor bottles and stacks of dirty dishes. He rarely bothered turning it off. A habitual presence in construction, he had implemented it at home, permanently tuned to a jazz station. It also occasionally offered him valuable information from the news breaks. Wondering what caused those epic roadblocks on the inner and outer belt lines last night? Here's your answer from the Associated Press. 10-year-old Edward Liddell and 6-year-old Violet Liddell of Reston, Virginia, are now officially the 25th and 26th victims in the second wave of serial mid-Atlantic abductions, known as the Pied Piper kidnappings. Virginia now joins Maryland, Delaware, and D.C. in a seemingly endless plague of kidnappings. Since the FBI joined local police in a task force 4 months ago. Reaching to shut off the radio, Blakey knocked over a cluster of empty bottles, forcing him to acknowledge the mess. Angrily, he went to gather all the bottles into a nearby laundry basket to take them to the garage, but that would lead to carting the already full recycling bin to the curb. That would lead to getting the considerable pile of mail in the mailbox, which would lead to the discovery of the unpaid garbage collection bill. Before the snake of responsibility constricted and consumed him, he dropped the laundry basket and got ready to leave. If he had the time, he would have cleaned everything. If he could, he would have fixed it all. Instead, he was trapped in a suburban purgatory, running an unfixable loop. The days of worrying about her home alone had long passed. He hollered, "I'm leaving," not knowing if it would be heard, but giving in to the formality. The dog appeared and cocked its head. Blakey stopped at the door to pay the half-full reclaimed pretzel jug sitting on a side table, marked "swear tax" in a child's handwriting. The loose change had been jingling in his coat pocket since Monday's takeout, which made him wonder what day it was, and then if he still had any aspirin in his truck. It was an extended drive across town. Amber alerts had become a constant police presence, and then nightly checkpoints. Complaints over inconvenience evolved into cries of "police state," and then pundits on both sides beat the issue to death. The frequency and brazenness of the kidnappings quickly united everyone, as the crimes had simply become too frightening, even for those without children. Children disappearing in the middle of the night evoked a primal, evolutionary fear. People drove slower when a police car was in sight, but since they were out swarming like honeybees, traffic was awful everywhere.